Hello and welcome to the Bill Knight Ford Cascia Commando football show with head coach Joe Medina. Coach Medina, when we take a look, 45-0 over the Miami War Dogs. What a way to start district play.
Yeah, you couldn't ask for anything better. I was very proud of my football team. They practiced really well, first of all. We had probably our best week of practice, and it showed. We were ready to play, came out of the gates just smoking, and ended up with a very, very impressive win and a shutout.
Well, when I look at the line score, you see all the points. But what I see that you see, 0-0-0, defense was a key.
Defense is always the key, as everybody's heard me say all the time. That's what we do first at Cascia. And if you can keep them at 0 or minimal points and set up a short field with your special teams, then you're going to have pretty good offensive success. And that's exactly how that game played out on Friday.
And you know, I think it's always remarkable, Coach, that every one of your players feel the same way. So you have done a tremendous job in getting them to know that defense is the key.
Well, that and the fact that we play team concept ball. I mean, it's one of those things, as we'll see on the highlights, there's lots of guys that are touching the ball, guys getting downfield, throwing blocks. We're playing great team defense, so I'm very happy with what our young guys have done.
Well, let's roll into action here in the first half. The Commandos at Miami.
Well, here we start out on defense, and they're going to throw a completion here. But then if you see, there's 4 white shirts right there rallying to the ball. Here they try to run the ball inside, and again, just a swarm of tacklers forces them to punt. And we start on our opening drive. Throw the little quick screen out here to Grant Summers. He picks up good yards, setting up a 4th and makeable. And then we're going to go play action pass on the 4th and makeable. And very proud of James Rouse. He's really maturing and settling in that starting quarterback job. He picks up the first down. Hand the ball off here to Nathan Dinsmore over the left side. Good job blocking there by Hunter Hedrick, the left tackle. Sam Foster, the left guard. Rouse with a bullet here to Chandler Sokolowski. Talk about team ball. Davis Lambert with the touchdown springing block right there to give us a 6-0 lead. Tyler Wedding, who had a great night, kicks the extra point and cashes up 7-0. Back on defense here again, Miami with a good running offense here, tries to run the ball inside. Jesse Wood with a nice stop. Throw the deep ball here, first turnover of the game. Zach Powell with a nice interception. Go with the counter sweep pass and throw the ball here to Brett Boone. Brett's going to pick up a couple downfield blocks right there, and it's going to spring him for about an extra 10 yards and sets us up inside the 20-yard line. Counter sweep again to Nathan Dinsmore. Again, great blocking on the left side of the line there. And then Trayson Rayleigh, our fullback, kind of the unsung hero of that tank package, scores the 2nd touchdown after Wedding kicks the extra point. Back on defense here, they have a little bit of success. We're going to miss a tackle right there, actually 2 tackles. But I want you to watch the hustle by 2 people here. Number 29, Zach Powell, who does a good job coming from the other side. And then 83 there, Chris Spurl. You know, we always talk about playing the next play, and here's the next play. Spurl gets in there, disrupts the runner, and Brett Boone makes a nice tackle. Nathan Dinsmore on the quarterback sack as we got him going backwards here. And then very proud of our situational awareness here. This is 4th and goal from the 25. We lay back a little bit, and then the guys come up and make a nice play, keep them out of the end zone. Throw the slant route here. Rouse to Sokolowski, picks up good yards inside of the 40-yard line there. Rouse again, this is Rouse catching the pass from Grant Ward. So we have another situation here where the quarterback catches it from the other quarterback. And again, Davis Lambert unselfishly there with a nice block. Back to pass they go, and we thought Zach was going to get a 2nd interception there, just barely went over his fingertips. Back on defense, Jesse Wood, who's had a phenomenal year. And again, you see the swarm of white jerseys there, making it tough for the runner. Great pressure there, and interception here by Miles Waller sets us up in War Dog territory. Grant Ward in the empty package drops the fumble, drops the snap, and still picks up good yards. Here he is again on the quarterback counter play, gets up the field. I think our speed really was a difference maker in this game. Run the draw play here on 3rd and long to Dalton Turner. Dalton makes a move there, gets us inside of the 10-yard line, picks up the first down. Drive ends up stalling, so here's Tyler Wedding with a nice field goal here. Good snap, good hold, and good protection to give us a 24-0 lead. Back on defense, see if we can make some more plays, maybe get another touchdown. Powell there with a nice bat away. Jesse Wood again in the backfield making a tackle for a loss. After the punt, Commandos are going to set up with a little bit of a 2-minute drill here. Throw the little swing pass out there to Brett Boone, picks up good yards. Hand the ball off here to Grant Ward, makes a nice cut there. Good blocking again by the offensive line to Springham. He gets inside of the 20-yard line. We're knocking on the door here again, JV, and we have to finish this drive. We didn't finish the last one with the touchdown. Here's a tough run by Jake Hall. Looks like he stopped at the line, but just kind of springs out of there. Good tough running. Tough running here by Nathan Dinsmore. Gets some good blocks there by the left side. Gets us inside of the 5-yard line. And for a second touchdown right here, Trayson Rayleigh over the right side of the line. Good blocking there. Joey Medina and Spencer Elias for the touchdown. 31-0. Things are going good. Just defense got to keep them from getting any kind of cheap score. Force them to punt here. Grant drops the ball again. Grant had a hard time picking up the ball on Friday, but then you see his athleticism here. And look at the train of white shirts there getting downfield blocks, and Grant's going to cruise into the end zone for the final touchdown of the first half to give us a 38-0 lead as we go in the locker room.
38-0 after 2 quarters of play. Now tell me, did you anticipate that?
Really didn't. I knew that we would play well, again, to go back to the practice week that we had, but just the fact that the guys really came out and they executed well in all 3 facets of the game. You saw the field goal, which I thought was important to get Tyler out there to kick a field goal, because you never know when he's going to have to go out there and do that in a pressure situation. The offense, we had a lot of guys touch the ball, as you saw in the highlights. And then defense, I always know is going to play well. They just get around to the ball and use their quickness and make plays.
Well, I thought something there that you kept emphasizing was the quickness. On offense, I mean, they were avoiding tackles through quickness.
Yeah, and I saw that watching the film. I knew that we were going to be a little bit faster, a little bit quicker, and it kind of played out that way.
Stay with us here on the Bill Knight Ford Cascia Commando Football Show. We're going to take a timeout, come back with Coach Medina and the second half right after this.
Ready or not, here I come.
The smallest moments can have the biggest impact on a child's life. Take time to be a dad today.
Welcome back to the Bill Knight Ford Cascia Commando Football Show with head coach Joe Medina. 38-0 at the half. And coach, one question. What do you tell your players at the half when you're leading 38-0?
You know, it's interesting that you asked me that. I knew what I was going to say. I remember a couple weeks ago when we were in the opposite situation, when we were down against Bartlesville, and we asked our kids to come out there and still fight and still compete and try to work your way back in the game. And, you know, we did a little bit against Bartlesville, so that's what I warned the team against. I said, you know, their coach is telling them exactly the same thing that we did a couple weeks ago, so be ready for them to try to come out and work their way back. And our kids really just kind of rescinded that. I mean, they just, anything that Miami threw at us, we were ready for, and we just turned them back.
It's always a lot of fun when your kids follow instructions.
Yeah, they respond really well. And that's another good characteristic of this team.
Let's go into second half action here. Once again, 38-0. The Commandos over the War Dogs.
Well, here we go. Opening kickoff of the second half is going to fall right in the arms of Grant Ward. And again, Grant with his incredible strength and speed. You see him spin away from the tackle there. Almost outrun the angles of these 2 guys and would have had 2 special teams touchdowns on that. Did get called back because of the penalty. Throw the tunnel screen here to Cannon Montgomery. Picks up about 5 yards. Right here, Rouse again throws a nice pass to Sokolowski. Chandler had a good night, number of catches, and is going to get a second half interception here. Hand the ball off to Ward. Now Ward's playing running back for us. You know, he's very multi-dimensional. We can use him in a lot of different ways. This is Dinsmore that's going to crack over the right side and going to go score. And then their kids, again, you ask them to compete. There they go compete. They strip the fumble and keep us from scoring. So now, you know, if they can take this down, you know, they can make things interesting. But again, as I mentioned, you know, the defense just rises to the occasion and makes some good plays. Here, the toss sweep, you know, great job there by Miles Waller setting the edge, and the pursuit gets him. Back to the run inside. The inside linebackers, Jake Hall and Brett Boone, played a great game. Here's Sokolowski's interception. I thought he actually was going to score on this. Made some good moves, but still got us down there around the 15-yard line. A couple penalties threw us back. So we try to throw the Z screen here. Again, you can see Rouse's maturity as a quarterback. It wasn't there right away. He kept his poise and threw it out there to Davis Durr, who made a nice gain. Dalton Turner here with a nice move to get him to the outside, trying to get it into the end zone, gets tackled there at about the 7. Run Dalton again on the counter play, takes it outside, and he's going to get it down to about the 3-yard line. And then we're going to run Brett Boone here on the counter sweep out of the tank formation for the easy touchdown to put us up 45-0. So again, we had the turnover, the defense bailed us out and set us up with good field position after the interception. As we move into the fourth quarter here, again, just great defense, nice play on the outside there by Dalton Turner, who's in at corner now. Trayson Rayleigh here, who scored a couple touchdowns, makes a nice gain of about 7 yards. Get another penalty, hand the ball to Jared Mason. He picks up about 5 yards, drive stalls. We call on Nathan Dinsmore to punt us out of that situation, and look at the great play here by Miles Waller, going past the return guy to down the ball inside of the 5-yard line. Doing just the little things that it takes to win, JV, and defense is always one of those things that we've got to rely upon. Good tackle there by, it seemed, the entire defense. Force them to punt. Dalton Turner again here, making some nice moves, and with a good punt return for about 10 yards, gets us set up inside of the 40-yard line. Hand the ball to Bennett Boone now, Brett's younger brother, picks up some good yards. Dalton Abney right now with a nice run there on the quarterback read. A couple penalties pushed us back, and that was probably the one thing I wish we could have changed from the game is not having so many penalties. But Dinsmore again with a great kick and great kick cover there by Chris Spurl. Got the young ones in now, chance for them to make some plays. Nice tackle there by Tate Bonham, tackle for a loss. Hand the ball here to Jared Mason again. It's going to get a few yards over there on the right side to close the game out at 45-0.
45-0, and you know the thing that really jumps out at me, and I watch this a lot when we're watching a game or when you're reading about it, but you had 6 different people to score a touchdown. 6 touchdowns, 6 different touchdown carriers.
Yeah, again, you talk about ball distribution and balance, and you look, we ran some, we threw some in. Again, we want to try to get people involved. We want to make it hard for our future opponents to key in on one particular player, and so I think things are going really well for us the way that we have so many people touching the football.
Well, when you do that, to me, it creates a defensive problem for the people that you are going to be playing. And then when you can get Tyler to kick the extra points and field goals on a 100% basis, that really creates a nice problem.
Well, it does, and as I stress to the kids, once you get into district play, as we found out the last 2 years, those district points matter. So I keep telling them all the time, we've got to make every extra point, we've got to make every field goal, and if we get a chance to block an extra point or block a field goal, that's going to go a long way, not just in the particular game, but down the road when the district tiebreaker comes into play.
I think there's one question that most viewers would want. Did you come out of it in good health?
We came out of it in really good health. We have some broken thumbs and a sprained wrist, but overall, we're going to have a full squad this week as we go in for the big game against Wagner. Well, we're going to have 2 special guests coming up, Coach, and we always look forward to visiting with them. So stay with us. We're back with the Bill Knight Ford Cascia Commando Football Show and Coach Joe Medina and 2 very special guests.
Here's to the things that can keep us safe. And now, those that we carry with us everywhere will bring us wireless emergency alerts. With the unique sound and vibration, you'll be in the know, wherever you are.
Welcome back to the Bill Knight Ford Cascia Commando Football Show with head coach Joe Medina. And Coach Medina, at this time, every week, we have 2 very special guests Tell us about them.
Yeah, we have two more senior football players that had great games on Friday night. We have Trayson Rayleigh, a fullback linebacker who scored 2 touchdowns. And right next to me is Tyler Wedding, our kicker, who kicked all 6 extra points and added a field goal.
Well, that Friday night at Miami, both of you, I'm sure that you felt the same as Coach Medina felt, and the fact that whatever the plan was, you kept it. 45-0 win. A very dominant performance in all aspects. Now, this is Coach Medina. Now, let's start with you, Trayson. What was it from your standpoint?
Well, I think it was just a dominant performance all around. Offensively, the line played great. They made it really easy for the skilled players to get in the end zone, and defensively, we made our blue swarm was going great. Everybody's going to the ball, and special teams, no hiccups. And Tyler made all his points, so it was just a good all-around football.
And Tyler, what is your impression?
It was a great game, and it was strong for everybody. We had our offense was going, special teams was unstoppable. Grant scoring on a punt return, it was exciting.
And Coach, on the sideline, you had to be very happy.
Oh, I was very happy. You know, what part of the fan in me is, I like watching good football, and we played good football Friday night. We had a lot of guys step up and make some good plays, and I enjoy watching these guys perform. It was neat to get Trayson in the end zone. It was good to see Tyler, kick the field goal. So these are things that are going to help us as we go on.
And especially when you know they're capable of doing it.
Oh, yeah. We wouldn't put them out there if they weren't capable.
Trayson, let's talk to you about the Blue Swarm defense for just a moment here. Tell us why the players enjoy this so much and holding an opponent to no points.
Well, just on day one and throughout the season, Coach Medina and the other coaches, they just remind us that we play defense first. And I think whenever we constantly have that mentality all season, just holding the team to 0 points it's a great accomplishment, and we feel great about it.
And Tyler, we can turn to you and talk about the 9 points that you had, 6 of 6 point after touchdowns and a field goal. A lot of times I think that a player doesn't realize that the people maybe don't realize how important that is. So could you kind of give us some appreciation there from a casual fan?
It's tough, but we preach at scouting report that we win games by having 1 more point than the other team. So I can score that 1 more point, and if we can do that, then we will win football games.
And then the pressure that can be put on you, you're prepared for it.
I am. I play golf, so the mentality behind that, stress, I can take it out. It's not as difficult as it
And that's
should
why
be.
you have a lot of confidence in him.
Yeah, I have a lot of confidence. First and foremost, he's got a great leg. I mean, he kicks the ball well. He kicks it deep off of kickoffs. He's very accurate with his extra points and his field goals. And if I don't think you've missed an extra point all year, which is a lot tougher than what people think at this level. I mean, you got to have a good snap, a good hold, and obviously the good kick. And I know somewhere down the line, I say this every year, that a kicker is going to have to win us a ball game, and it might be this week against Wagner that we trot him out there with the clock running down, and I have all the confidence in the world that Tyler will boot the ball through the goalpost and will win the game.
Well, and just talking with Tyler, he talks with confidence.
Yeah, and I think, again, he mentions the fact that he's been in pressure situations, and as you and I know, I don't know if you can get any more pressure than standing over a 4-foot putt and you got to drain it.
Yeah, especially if you got 50 cents writing on it.
Or more.
Okay, we have a big game coming up at Wagner. The #1 team in the state in Class 4A picked to win your district. And as you look at it, a great challenge is coming about. How are you going to pull off the upset?
Well, I just think all week we got to be we got to study film and have a good week in practice, and we know what to do. We just got to stick to the game plan, and I think we have the talent to pull off the upset. So it'll be good.
Last week, we had a really good week of practice, as Coach mentioned. I think if we can do that this week, we'll win the football game.
One of the things about Cascia Commando athletes is they play more than one sport. You're not just dedicated to one sport. So why don't you tell our audience and Trayson, we'll start with you. What you do besides football?
In the springtime, I run track and field. I'm a sprinter, and I throw the discus as well. And yeah, that's what I do.
How are you going to be this year?
I think we'll be pretty good. You know, we have a lot of talented runners, and you know, just it all depends on how much hard work we put into it. And yeah, I think we have a pretty good chance of doing well this year.
Tyler?
I'm a golfer in the spring. That's what I love to do. And this year, we're going to win it. We're going to win state. Last year we got second, and that's no fun.
And you know, golf is kind of interesting as you look at it today on a professional level. There's so many young people, young men coming into it and going into the multi-million-dollar. So you have something to think about, don't you?
A little bit, yeah.
Coach, it's a pleasure having them aboard, and I know that they'll give you a great effort on Friday night.
Yeah, very symbolic of our football team. You know, very good team players and great kids in and out of the classroom and on the field. So just happy to be able to coach them.
Best of luck to both of you on Friday night against Wagner.
Thanks.
Stay with us here on the Bill Knight Ford Cascia Commando Football Show. We're back with Coach Medina right after this.
Movies are one thing, but in the event of a real earthquake, you should drop, cover, and hold on. Visit ready.gov/earthquake, and you'll be seen as a hero by your loved ones.
Visit ready.gov today.
Welcome back to the Bill Knight Ford Cascia Commando Football Show with head coach Joe Medina. Coach Medina, when we take a look at this week, you are on the road to Wagner, the #1 team in Class 4A, picked to win 4A3. That gives you a lot, what I would say, just excitement.
Oh, it's going to be a great game all the way around. They're defending state champions. You add to the fact that they're, I think, on a 13-game winning streak. The last time they lost was against us last year, so you know that they're going to come out with a little bit of a revenge mode. So it's got the makings of a great high school football game.
And when they start putting those winning streaks together, you have experienced several of those.
Oh yeah, and you know that when you're the defending state champion, everybody's out there trying to knock you off, and so you just have to be ready on both sides. You know, they'll be ready for us, and then we're going to be ready for them because we know that they respect us an awful lot. I know in my visits with Coach Condick, their head coach, that he has a lot of respect for our football program.
When you go back and look at what is going on, I think the fans watching the show today would enjoy hearing a scouting report from the head coach of the Cascia Commandos.
Well, they're awesome. You know, the Wagner Bulldogs are all they're cracked up to be. They have so many talented football players, so many explosive players that anybody who has the ball in their hand can take it for 80 yards and a touchdown. They have multiple receivers. They've got multiple running backs. A nice article in the newspaper today about their quarterback being a dual threat runner passer. So there's no real weakness. You know, defensively they get they're very big, strong kids. You know, not overly big. A lot of 230, 240 pound, but strong kids. So. You know, we're going to have to just be real patient and take what they give us and hopefully find some way to get an edge, whether that be from special teams or an extra turnover here or there. But, you know, I like our chances. I like our kids won't fear them since we did have the big win over them last year.
Well, you know, coming off from the game that you had at Miami where you shut them out, and the fact that you have always been a lot of emphasis on defense, do you feel comfortable with the defensive team being able to go down there and do what they set out to do?
Yeah, I think the biggest key for us is going to be how well we tackle. They have great skill people. You know, they're going to throw the little hitch routes or run you deep, so you have to kind of pick your poison, and you know they're going to be out in the open field, and when they are, we just have got to minimize the gain and make tackles and make them run another play. We need to keep away from giving them those long, 50, 60-yard plays.
Well, and you mentioned their quarterback, Rodriguez. He has really been a very, very good quarterback here the first half of the district season.
He has. He started last year as a sophomore and really gained a lot of experience. You can see how Coach trusts him a little bit more with the offense. You know, he's asking him to throw a little bit more difficult passes, and the kid's got a strong arm, and more than anything else, he's got a lot of poise, and he is the one that runs that offense.
You know, the thing that I notice every time I look at District 4A3 is the fact that there is no night that you can take for granted, is there? There's always the possibility, because that is a very strong district.
Yeah, and if you look, for instance, the team that finished second and third last week, both lost their district openers, and that's Oologah and Catoosa. So we're fortunate. As I told the kids last week after the first game, there's going to be 4 teams in first place and 4 teams in last place, and we're fortunate enough that we're one of the 4 teams that's in first place, and we have a chance to keep being in first place by knocking off Wagner and putting them in second or third place. So the stakes are pretty high in this football game.
You know, the thing that I notice about District 4A3, when you take a look at the schedule, you look at it this week, it could not be any tougher than it is. And next week, it's the same thing. It makes no difference where it's week 1, 2, 3, or 4. It is a tough game.
Right, but you know, JV, that's how we like it. You know, I think that's what everybody that comes to Cascia football games really enjoys, are competitive games against quality opponents. Again, the fact that we're playing schools that are much larger than us never really enters into the picture, other than the fact that they've got better players than what we saw when we were playing in 3A, and so we just have to answer the challenge. And I know week in, week out, our kids are going to give us their best effort, and most of the time over the course of the last 3 years that we've been in 4A, you know, we've won the game. So I expect no different this week.
You know, one thing that that you have done for so many years, you've had the Cascia Commandos playing tremendous football on the road. It seems like it makes no difference where it's home or away, that you are going to get a great effort out of them. So I know you're expecting that Friday night in Wagner.
Yeah, we are. You know, I'm a big fan of getting everybody together on the bus. We dressed in our blue blazers for the Miami game. We'll do the same thing for Wagner. Again, it's just one of those things that unifies this football team and really this community. That blazer is a symbol of who we are at Cascia. So, you know, I like us being together, and it usually translates into a good football game.
In just a few seconds, I know we talked about this earlier, but in case we have some new viewers, health-wise, you're in good shape.
Yeah, we're in good shape. We're ready to roll. No excuses. You know, we're going to show up at 7:30 at Wagner and bring our A game, and hopefully find some way to get one more point than the Bulldogs do.
Well, Coach, I want to wish you the very best of luck. Can't wait till Friday night, and then I can't wait until next week when we talk about it here on the Cascia Commando Football Show.
Yeah, it'll be a good game. I invite everybody to come out and watch.
Thanks for being with us today on the Cascia Commando Football Show with head coach Joe Medina. Join us again next week.
Ready or not, here I come.
The smallest moments can have the biggest impact on a child's life. Take time to be a dad today.